Welcome and good morning to everybody. This is Johnny Millwater Live. I got the big mic on today. Let's go back to the talk show desk. Say hi. Good morning, world. I hope everybody's doing well. I'm trying a new thing, see how much I can feel my voice. Let's see, still do that so you can still see my face, but the details are still there. I find I lose the headphones in the shop, but who cares? Right now, there's nobody in the chat as far as I can tell, so I won't even bother explaining what we do here. I just like to read stuff. That's pretty much it. Like to read stuff and talk to people, see how they're doing. Let's go to the chat and see if there's anybody. Just so the folks at home know it's how it's supposed to work, you can see over here to my right, it's the magic screen. Whatever you type into the Facebook comments will appear on the magic screen, and I'll be happy to talk about it with you. I didn't notice until now I have a whole bunch of weird mouth noises. I wonder how to deal with those. Wait, hey, somebody's here. BJ! Good morning, BJ O'Shea. What ship are you on? What city are you in? Are you home in Oklahoma? I hope you're well. I miss you a lot. For the folks at home who might be watching, BJ's a brilliant musician. I know her when she was a bass player, but she's also a pianist and I believe a guitarist. And a wonderful lady that I spent a whole lot of time hanging out with. Whole bunch of teas. She even hung out with me. Teas as in not like she teased me, but we had tea. You know, like the British have tea. That's what we did. But, you know, not at 4. How you doing? Where you writing in from? What's the good word? Seen any good TV lately? Let me explain how the show works while we enjoy this moment. I talk to the chat, and then when I run out of things to say, I open up something I call Spin the Wheel. Ooh, BJ has some more stuff. She says, you know, I'm in Tacoma, Washington. That's a lovely place to be. I envy you. Heading to Australia at the end of the month as a guitar soloist. Very, very exciting. Is it your first Australia? I know that we've done we did Alaska together, but we did not do Australia. That's pretty cool. So your first trip in Australia? I was supposed to go, but I messed up. Here's an interesting story. You might not even know this. I was scheduled to be in Australia. That's the first part of it. To do 2 weeks on the Pride, back when the Pride was in Australia, and they sent me my details for the flight. The date in the upper left-hand corner was the date that I was supposed to leave, and the date in the upper right-hand corner was the date that I was supposed to arrive 2 days later. I thought it was all going to be one day. I went by the date on the right before I even tried to go to the airport, and I ended up missing my flight, obviously, and making the folks at home and the home office very, very upset with me, and I've never had a chance to go back. But I hear it's great. All the pictures I've seen are breathtaking. I understand it's your third Australia. That's cool. This is too weird. There we go. Just going to talk like a regular guy. See how that feels for a while. Third Australia. You keep going back. Do you prefer Australia to Alaska? Because I do. I mean, I like Alaska. Alaska's my favorite, but Australia must be even better, or you wouldn't go there. Boy, I'm a lot of us today. I'm working hard trying not to say in between all of my statements and have interesting to say. I saw a play this week. Only Aussie comedians? That makes sense. There's a lot of good, hard-working Australian comedians. That's a smart play, if you ask me. Probably why. I probably ruined it for everybody. It's the Millwater rule. Wouldn't be the first time. It's been a fun week for me. I had a show on Wednesday for the first time in months and months and months and months. Did a full half hour. There's the again, trying not to. I had a full half hour. Get to get suited up and perform for a nice group in a little tiny, what play? Oh, I wasn't in a play. I got to play, I got to do a show. I'm not in a play right now, although I'm working on a play. I'm working with my partner Reggie Massey on a play called The Sunset Limited, written by Cormac McCarthy. He only has about 2 hours a week to work on it, but we're working on it 2 hours a week until we can get it memorized and maybe put it on. It's a fantastic play about two people discussing the existence of God. But I did a show at a place called Papa Doc's. Always fun to play a spot named after a horrible dictator. It's just rich white people. It's very funny. I had a friend of mine do an open, and he wasn't the opening act, but he did a guest set, and he closed the show with a Fox News joke and lost everybody on the very last word of the entire set. It was incredible to see because he didn't know who he was. Oh, the one you went to see. I'm sorry about the delay. There's nothing I can do about the delay. The Facebook makes me crazy too. Thanks for sticking in there. The play I saw was Annie. I saw the live Broadway production of Annie in Charlotte, North Carolina. a spectacular show. I laughed, I cried, it became a part of me. It was better than Cats. Although, to be honest, I haven't looked at Annie in quite some time. It's a weird show. It's a very, very weird show. It's a weird premise for a show. Just some super rich, unmarried dude decides, oh, it's almost Christmas. Hey, Grace, that's the name of his secretary. Hey, Grace, go get me an orphan. It's almost Christmas. We like to have an orphan around. Bring the orphan. And then once the orphan's there, I like this orphan. I think I'm going to keep it. Set it up. I don't know. I don't know if maybe rich people go orphan shopping, but it seems very upsetting. I did just travel somewhere. I just came back from Scotland 2 weeks ago. I celebrated my 20th wedding anniversary and had a wonderful time. I drove all over Scotland from every corner. We did the entire coastline. Stayed in castles every night. We would just pick a city, drive, pick another city, drive, pick another city, drive, stop for tea, stop for lunch, stop for dinner. Then when it got to be dark, and it didn't get dark until about 9 p.m., we would put the word castle into our GPS, and that would take us to the nearest castle, and there was always a room available. And that's what we did the entire trip. It was wonderful and just very relaxing, and thanks so much for asking. Good morning, Spring! Nice to see Spring Byram. Spring, this is BJ. She's a musician and a dear friend of mine. BJ, this is Spring. She's one of the biggest comedy fans I know. She's got excellent taste. She's going to see all the great comics in the coming weeks. I know she's going to go see William Lee Martin. I know she's trying to see Sid Davis, as well you should. He's one of my favorites too. And then the various other people that you'll be seeing. I don't remember them, but I know they're great. How are you, Spring? Are you feeling well? Are things nice this morning? I believe Spring is in Charlotte with me. BJ is in Tacoma, Washington. This lag is something else, isn't it? Let me show you how it works. Anyway, for those of you that don't know, I'm going to just spin the wheel and do a thing. I like doing things. But type lots and lots of stuff, the answers to my questions and whatnot. Type it in, then I'll come back and we'll talk, and then I come back and do another thing. It's going to be great. Okay, here we go. Caroline Picard, excellent taste. Recently had one of her clips go viral on Open Bar Comedy. You should follow Open Bar Comedy if you don't. Shakespeare, excellent. Let us head to the Shakespeare stage. For regular viewers, we've been making our way through the sonnets. We are currently on sonnet number 119. What potions have I drunk of siren tears, distilled from limbecks foul as hell within, applying fears to hopes, and hopes to fears, still losing when I saw myself to win? What wretched errors hath my heart committed, whilst it hath thought itself so blessed never? Now have mine eyes out of their spheres been fitted in the distraction of this maddening fever. Oh, benefit of ill! Now I find true that better is by evil still made better, and ruined love, when it is built anew, grows fairer than at first, more strong, far greater. So I return rebuked to my content, and gain by ill thrice more than I have spent. Huh? How about that? That's why he's still so popular. It's very good. All right. Well, I forgot to do the round of applause. Hold on, I love this part. Yeah, feels good every single time. I love Caroline Picard. That one was for Caroline as well. Fun every time. All right, back to the Chat Chalet. On my end, nothing else has showed up except the Caroline Picard, and we can all agree she's fantastic. If you're not familiar with Open Bar Comedy, it's a company that's being run by my buddy Ron Feingold, who worked ships for a while, works the road for a while, and has been good to me my entire career. It's a series of half-hour specials being shot at in Sarasota at the McCurdy Comedy Theater. I've never had the pleasure of playing there yet. I'm very excited to go. I'll be doing my special in November. I'll be breaking out some of the old stuff to lock it down. BJ wants to know if there's any ships in my future. Thank you so much for asking. Not if I can help it. No, it's not. To be honest with you, being home is just completely changed. I've become spoiled. I've become really, really spoiled. I didn't realize how deeply unhappy I was out on the ships. It's just not what I'm built for. I'll probably go back because I love the show so much, and the people who work there are just amazing. People like you, BJ, the comedians and the musicians and the stage hands, all the cool people that you get to hang out with. But I can wait for a dry bar comedy special. Well, thank you very much, BJ. They offered me one like 4 years ago, but I don't work clean, and I don't want to be working for the Mormon church, so I passed on that. My buddy Dry Bar, the open bar special, the video quality is not quite as good, but there's no restrictions on what you can say and do, which is very important to me. And like I said, it's produced by a friend. But Dry Bar does beautiful, beautiful work. I've seen Sid's a couple times. A buddy of mine, Jason Allen King, has a really good one. So I'm glad you got good taste in comedians too. All right. Can't wait. Let's spin the wheel. Time for a song. Yay, let's go in the theater for a spot. There you go. All right, I'm putting on the headphones. Look out, we're getting fancy. Hey, everybody. We're going to try a soft song. This is a song. Oh, that's so much mouth noise. This is a song by a comedy duo called Garfunkel and Oates. It's called As You Are. Sit back, you don't have to work so hard. It makes me tired to watch you try. Relax, you've already played your cards, and I know which ones are a lie. It makes me really sad to see the things you think you have to be just to be enough for me when you already are. Why can't you just look at you in the same way that I do, through all that's false and all that's true? I like you as you are. I know that you can get sad sometimes. I see it mostly when you smile. Let go of all of your supposed crimes. Just be with me for a while. I know this may be hard to hear, but all your tricks are really clear. I see right through your slick veneer to the secret life you hide. Why can't you just look at you in the same way that I do? For all that's false and all that's true, I like you as you are. Take me in, believe me when I say you're more than just okay. You're perfect as you are. It's one of my favorites. Trying out the new microphone, see if I can sing soft. Ooh, Charlie's here too. Fun. Let's go back to the chat. Welcome back, everybody. For those of you just tuning in, Charlie's here. Charlie, hey, Charlie. Charlie, BJ's a musician on the ships and a wonderful lady. Charlie was a former social host, or whatever they're called, comedy club host and comedy club manager. Wonderful lady and great company, and I'm so happy you're here. Good morning, Ms. C. How are you? Are you feeling well? Are you still down there in the islands? How goes the dancing? It's hard to build the momentum of a conversation when there's this big long lag, but there's got to be a way to do it. If I'm smart enough, I can figure it out. But open bar special, CJ, excuse me, Charlie, I have an open bar special coming up to speed. I feel very weird. Everybody type questions or something. I'm gonna spin the wheel. Yeah, talk to each other. That's even better. No lag talking to each other. Genius. Monologue. All right, back to the theater. I like to do comedy monologues and serious monologues. This is a comedy monologue by the brilliant Dave Foley. Hi, just writing a letter to somebody in the hospital. You know, it's always kind of hard to find the right words to say, you know. How's weather in hospital? Sure is nice outside, just doesn't work. But you gotta try, you know. You gotta show your concern, so here's what I got so far. Dear guy, I clotheslined as you went by on your bicycle. You don't know me, but I'm the guy who broke your collarbone. Now I've asked myself over and over, why did I clothesline that guy? Perhaps I watched too much slapstick as a kid and expected you to get up after being violently assaulted. Imagine my confusion when you did not. Although not so confused, I'd actually hang around. In fairness, it was pretty funny. I mean, the last thing you'd expect as you were riding merrily by on your bike is that someone you didn't know at all would stick out his arm and crush your throat. I mean, you really should have seen it. It was just like, wham! Anyway, in closing, as you lay there convalescing in your hospital bed, I'm forced to wonder, what were you doing riding your bike on the sidewalk anyway, huh? You asshole? Sidewalk! Sometimes we bring heartache upon ourselves. Signed, the guy that collapsed your trachea. There you go. Little early morning violence to get us going. Just okay here, dodging storms. All right, hold on. I'm having fun. We're doing just okay here. That's a start. You can move up from there. Just okay to pretty good, not bad. And then you get up into the could be worse area. And then you can start, any day above ground's a good one. You got options. We're doing okay, dodging storms, but still smiling. Which storms are coming your way? That's right, it's hurricane season, isn't it? I live in North Carolina now. It barely affects me, but I forget it affects everybody I know severely. So, hey. Fun. Let's spin the wheel. Glad you're smiling. Loved your tap routine that you posted the other day. Gotta learn how to tap dance. Don't have the cardio strength. Here we go. Ooh, feelings. Let's go into our feelings. Hey. How are you feeling? By the time I'm done talking about my feelings, your feelings will show up on the thing and we could talk about them. I've been feeling pretty good this week. I've had some disappointments, some ups and some downs. I like to meet with a buddy of mine on Tuesday. We're writing a new podcast I think I told you about called the Radio Noise Podcast, but he's canceled. It was the fourth time in a row he's canceled. I'm starting to take it personally, and I'm starting to get upset, and I'm starting to get angry, and I hate feeling all that stuff. So I sincerely hope that we get to work again on Tuesday, or that I won't have any problems. Wait, Julia's here. Hi, perfect timing. I was just talking about my feelings. Nobody's more patient with my feelings than Julia. Thanks for being here. Consequently, as I call her back on Twitch, the only crossover fan I have, I'm very, very happy to see you. I was just talking about my feelings. And then Wednesday, I went camping, which is wonderful. Every once a month, I like to go camping up in the Smoky Mountains. I'll drive 3 hours, first up into the hills in Asheville. I found that I can stop by the Blue Ridge Parkway. There's this one little spot on the Blue Ridge Parkway called Bad Fork that I absolutely love. So I'll stop by a grocery store. I'll pick up a couple things. I'm on a diet now too. Should probably talk about the diet. I'm on the no sugar diet, but the one day a month is a cheat day. So I pick up a pint of ice cream and a little piece of carrot cake, and I take my folding chair up to the Blue Ridge Parkway and just sit there and eat ice cream. And it was wonderful, and I was so happy. And then I went home. Then I went to the campsite at the Big Creek the Big Creek campground in the Smoky Mountains, and just sat and looked at the water for hours and hours and cleared my head, and it was wonderful. And I had to make it home because I had an appointment to work with my friend on the play on Wednesday morning, but he canceled as well. So that was a big bummer. My diet is very unhealthy, but it's working so far. Both my wife and I have started a diet. I think she's winning. I was 272 when we started. I'm down to 262. I believe she's lost 15 already. And I've only had one cheat day. I think it's going to be just fine. In the past, I've lost 50, 60 pounds on this diet. It's effective, but it's very restrictive. Okay. Oh, hey, some people wrote some things. Thank you so much. Joining the Splendor soon. That's very, very cool. That's a classic. That's one of the old ships, isn't it? I don't even remember what class that is. Is that fantasy class? Nice. And then Charlie said, thank you for the kind comments. No serious storms, just disappointing rain showers. I'm very sorry to hear that you're disappointed. Just got to find the fun things to do in the rain showers. And then Julia said, talking about feelings is important, and I couldn't have done without you. Still living in Turks and Caicos. Ooh, Jessica Caldwell's here. Hi, Jessica. Welcome home for your great adventure. Thank you very, very much for saying so. I'm very happy to be here. Wow, you guys are great. All right, we got a whole bunch of people here. Let's see if we can't find something for everybody to enjoy. Ask questions. Talk amongst yourselves. I just ran out of stuff on the thing, so I'm going to go do a thing. I'll be right back. But I'm very happy to see all of you. Thanks for coming, Jessica. Thanks for coming, Julia. It's between a couple of classes. For the folks at home, the carnival ships are all of different classes. I believe it goes holiday class. That was the first one I ever did. And then fantasy class. And then destiny class or something like that. And that one burned down, so they called that something else and tried to pretend it was a different class. It's all very complicated. But the stock's going back up, and that's what really matters, because it's been way, way, way down for a long time. I bought a whole bunch before the before the pandemic, and I can't get my money back out because it went from 60 to 10. It's been hanging around 10 since then, so I'm hoping. And thus concludes Business Talk with an uninformed comedian. Let's spin the wheel. Have you ever been to Scotland, Jessica? Wonder what that said. Well, it said, oh, Zen Cohen. All right. Zen Cohen's, as most of you know, are short, there's the again, are short stories used in the instruction of Japanese Zen Buddhism. They usually have a specific point or specific lack of point, depending on what's trying to be taught. There are over 100 in my collection. We are currently on number 76. This is entitled The Stone Mind. Hogen, a Chinese Zen teacher, lived alone in a small temple in the country. One day, 4 traveling monks appeared and asked if they might make a fire in his yard to warm themselves. While they were building the fire, Hogen heard them arguing about subjectivity and objectivity. He joined them and said, "There is a big stone. Do you consider it to be inside or outside your mind?" One of the monks replied, "From the Buddhist viewpoint, everything is an objectification of the mind. So I would say that the stone is inside my mind." "Your head must feel very heavy," observed Hogen, "if you are carrying around a stone like that in your mind." Oh, let's give that some thought. What do you say? Thoughts have weight. It's true. Oh, poem. Good. I love those. Let's go back to the Poetry Pagoda. Headphones on. Let's find something that sounds sweet. What do you say? This is The Angel by William Blake. I dreamt a dream. What can it mean? And that I was a maiden queen, guarded by an angel mild. Witless woe was ne'er beguiled, and I wept both night and day, and he wiped my tears away. And I wept both day and night, and hid from him my heart's delight. So he took his wings and fled. Then the morn blushed rosy red. I dried my tears and armed my fears with 10,000 shields and spears. Soon my angel came again. I was armed, he came in vain, for the time of youth was fled, and gray hairs were on my head. Try it again. How are you guys feeling? Shakespeare again. All right, back to the theater. I shall pick at random. Love labors lost. Act 3, Scene 1. And I, forsooth, in love, I that have been love's whip, a very beetle to a humorous sigh, a critic, nay, a night watch constable, a domineering pedant over the boy, than whom no mortal so magnificent. This wimpled, whining, purblind, wayward boy, this Signor Junior Giant Dwarf Dan Cupid, regent of love rhymes, lord of folded arms, the anointed sovereign of sighs and groans, liege of all loiterers and malcontents, dread prince of plackets, king of codpieces, sole imperator and great general of trotting peritors. Oh, my little heart! And to be a corporal of his field, and wear his colors like a tumbler's hoop. What? I love? I sue? I seek a wife? A woman is like a German clock, still a-repairing, ever out of frame, and never going aright, being a watch, but being watched, that it may still go right. Nay, to be perjured, which is worth of all, and among three to love, the worst of all, a whitely wanton with a velvet brow, with two pitch balls stuck in her face for eyes. Aye, and by heaven, one that will do the deed through Argus were her eunuch and her guard. And I to sigh for her, to watch for her, to pray for her? Go to! It is a plague that Cupid will impose for my neglect of his almighty, dreadful little might. Well, I will love, write, sigh, pray, sue, and groan. Some man must love my lady, and some Joan. That's fun. Shakespeare. All right, I see nothing new in the chat, so let's spin some more. All right, what's this? Ooh, 7 viewers. That's more than I thought. Thanks for hanging in there, folks. Let's see. What just did Shakespeare? Let's take a break. Very popular choice. Thanks for hanging in there, friends. Wisdom. Excellent. Let's stay down some wisdom from on high. Let's talk about man versus nature. I'd like to read you something by the brilliant Alan Watts. Man is as much attached to nature as a tree, and though he walks freely on 2 legs and is not rooted in the soil, he is by no means a self-sufficient, self-moving, and self-directing entity. For his life, he depends absolutely on the same factors as the tree, the worm, and the fly, on the universal powers of nature, life, God, or whatever it may be. From some mysterious source, life flows through him unceasingly. It does not just go in at birth and come out at death. He is the channel for an ever-moving stream. A stream that carries the blood through his veins, that moves his lungs and brings him air to breathe, that raises his food from the earth and bears the light of the sun to his face. If we look into a single cell of his body, we find the universe. The sun, moon, and stars are ceaselessly maintaining it. We find it again if we plumb into the depths of his mind, for there are all the archaic urges of primeval life, both human and animal, and could we look deeper, we might find kinship in the plants and rocks. The isolation of the human soul from nature is, generally speaking, a phenomenon of civilization. This isolation is more apparent than real because the more nature is held back by brick, concrete, and machines, the more it reasserts itself in the human mind, usually as an unwanted, violent, and troublesome visitor. But actually, the creations of man, his art, his literature, his buildings, differ only in quality, not in kind, from such creations of nature as birds' nests and honeycombs. Man's creations are infinitely more numerous and ingenious, but this very ingenuity, together with his fear, aggravates his feelings of isolation, persuading him that he is a creator in his own right, separate from nature. for once again it would go against his self-esteem to have to admit his superb faculty of reason and all its works do not make him the master of nature rather than its servant. Bewitched by his power of reason and urged on through fright of his fear, man seeks his freedom in isolation and not in union with nature, whose service is perfect freedom. Man's struggle for mastery is magnificent and tragic, but it does not work. And the difficulty is not so much in what he does as in what he thinks. If he were to seek union instead of isolation, this would not involve what you would generally call getting back to nature. He would not have to give up his machines. He would not have to give up his machines and cities and retire to the forests and live in wigwams. He would only have to change his attitude. For the penalties he pays for his isolation are only indirectly on the physical plane. They originate from and are most severe in his mind. That's from The Meaning of Happiness, The Quest for Freedom of Spirit in the Modern World by Alan Watts. Spin the wheel. I still see nothing new in the comments. I'll check the chat in a minute to see if something got confused. Sometimes there's miscommunication between the computer and the wall, you know? Pretty good as I'm going. A lot of repeats today. Roses and Thorns, one of my favorite parks. Let's go back to the chat chalet. This is one of my favorites. This is how you can catch up with somebody in a short amount of time. Roses and Thorns. And the last one, what is going on back here? I can see a little alfalfa thing. Doesn't matter. Roses and thorns are very simple. If the good thing that happened to you this week, the best thing, that's your rose. And the toughest thing, that's your thorn. So for me, man, I can't count this hair sticking up as a thorn. So my rose was, I really enjoyed camping. I really enjoyed the play. I saw Annie, and it was spectacular. I just got to see it with my kids, which is even better. And they had a great time. My daughter fell asleep eventually during the second act, but, you know, it was late. And it's just such a pleasure. I didn't really have a chance to go see theater when I was touring all the time. Or if I did, it was by myself and very rare. So it was exciting to do that. That was my rose. And my thorn was when my friends canceled. I didn't get to do the work I enjoyed doing. That was mine. What's your rose and thorn? Rose, thorn, Put it in the comments. We'll talk about it. I'll be right back. First, here's the wheel. Very popular choice. I'll start clicking it twice. That'll keep us guessing. Let's see, we've done wisdom, we've done riddle. No, we haven't done riddles yet. Poem, good, I love poems. Let's go down to the Poetry Pagoda. Headphones on. Hi everybody. Johnny's back with some poetry. Let's find some poetry that can be read in a soft voice. Here's a classic, She Walks in Beauty, by Lord Byron. She walks in beauty like the night of cloudless climes and starry skies, and all that's best of dark and bright meet in her aspect and her eyes, thus mellowed to that tender light, which heaven to gaudy day denies. One shade the more, one ray the less, had half impaired the nameless grace which waves in every raven tress, or softly lightens o'er her face, where thoughts serenely sweet express how pure, how dear their dwelling place. And on that cheek and o'er that brow, so soft, so calm, yet eloquent, the smiles that win, the tints that glow, but tell of days in goodness spent, a mind at peace with all below, a heart whose love is innocent. Lovely. story. All right, let's go to the story room right now. Huh? Isn't this nice? A little bit of upbeat color for you folks. Let's see. I need to pick out a story. I hope you forgive me. I didn't have one picked out at the beginning. I have a selection of short stories that I enjoy. Let us read. Reginald on Worries by H. Monroe, also known as Saki. Reginald on Worries. Now, I have said Reginald an ant who worries. She's not really an ant, sort of an amateur one, and they aren't really worries. She is a social success and has domestic tragedies. No domestic tragedies worth speaking of, so she adopts a decorative sorrows that are going, myself included. And that way she's the antithesis, or whatever you call it, to those sweet, uncomplaining women one knows of who have been trouble and worn blinkers ever since. Of course, one just loves them for it, but I must confess they make me uncomfy. They remind me so as a duck that goes flapping about with forced cheerfulness long after its head's been cut off. Ducks have no repose. Now, my aunt has a shade of hair that suits her, and a cook who quarrels with the other servant, which is always a hopeful sign, and a conscience that's absentee for about 11 months of the year, and only turns up at Lent to annoy her husband's people, who are considerably lower than the angels, so to speak, with all these natural advantages. She says her particular tint of bronze is a natural advantage, and there can be no two opinions as to the advantage. Of course, she has to send out for her afflictions, like those restaurants where they haven't got a license. This system has its advantage, that you can fit your unhappiness in with your other engagements, whereas real worries have a way of arriving at meal times and when you're dressing or other solemn moments. I knew a canary once that had been trying for months and years to hatch out a family, and everyone looked upon it as a blameless infatuation, like the sale of a Delago Bay, which would be an annual loss to the press agencies if it ever came to pass. And one day the bird really did bring it off, in the middle of family prayers. I say the middle, but it was also the end. You can't go on being thankful for your deli bread when you are wondering what on earth very few canaries expect to be fed on. Very new canaries expect to be fed on. At present, she's rather in a balkan state of mind around the treatment of the Jews in Romania. Personally, I think that the Jews have estimable qualities. They're so kind to their poor and to their rich. I dare say in Romania, the cost of living beyond one's income isn't so great. Over here, the trouble is that so many people who have money to throw about seem to have such vague ideas where to throw it. That fund, for instance, to relieve the victims of sudden disasters. What is a sudden disaster? There's Marion Mulciber, who would think she could play bridge just as she would think she could ride down a hill on a bicycle on that occasion she went to the hospital. Now she's gone into a sisterhood, lost all she had, and gave the rest to heaven. Still, you can't call it a sudden calamity. It occurred when poor dear Marion was born. The doctor said that at the time she couldn't live more than a fortnight, and she's been trying ever since to see if she could. Women are so opinionated. And then there's the education question. Not that I can see that there's anything to worry about in that direction. To my mind, education is an absurdly overrated affair. At least one never took it very seriously at school, where everything was done to bring it permanently under one's notice. Anything that is worth knowing one practically teaches oneself, and the rest obtrudes itself sooner or later. The reason one's elders know so comparatively little is because they have had to unlearn so much that they acquired by way of education before we were born. Of course, I'm a believer in nature study, as I said to Lady Bow Whistle. If you want a lesson in elaborate artificiality, just watch the studied unconcern of a Persian cat entering a crowded salon, and then go and practice it for a fortnight. The Bow Whistles weren't born in the purple, but they're getting there on an installment system, so much down and the rest when they feel like it. They have kind hearts, and they never forget birthdays. I forget what he was, something in the city where the patriotism comes from. And she, her frocks are built in Paris, but she wears them with a strong English accent. So public-spirited of her. I think she must have been very strictly brought up. She's so desperately anxious to do the wrong thing correctly. Not that it matters nowadays. If I have told her I have some perfectly virtual people who are received, perfectly virtuous people who are received everywhere. Well, there's a whole bunch over here, but for some reason I can't see it. Oh no. This is where my screen is left off. Hold on. How do I? Oh man. How do I read that stuff? I want to read that stuff. This is the last thing I can see on my screen. Nothing else showed up. Oh man. Let my Bubba take a break from brewing and comment to go camping with me. Oh, with 2 dogs, I want to read this story. Oh man. That was the best part of Annie, by the way. They had a real dog, and my kids freaked out. They loved the real dog every time they saw it. All right, you know what? I'm going to close this and open it again, and then I can't go wrong. What do you think? All right, close the Facebook chat. Boom. Open the Facebook chat. Boom. Hey. Nope, it's still the same thing. Still welcome home from your grand adventure. That is so weird, and I don't understand how it goes wrong. Oh, man, I want to read all the stuff you said, Jessica. This is not... Oh, wait. There's a comments page. Hold on. There's a backup to the backup. Boom. Thank you. There we go. Aha. Oh, look at that. Splendor class. Now living in Turks and Caicos. Splendor class is between a couple of classes. Now, my final ship before retirement was the Paradise, though, BJ. The Paradise is nice. Dad is here. Always nice to hear. It's just me, Dad, and a bunch of cool ladies. Welcome. Now, Jessica says that people need more kinship with nature. That's fact. I die a little faster every time I see it being destroyed all around me. It's absolutely true. That's one of my favorite things about not living in Tampa is there's nature every now and then. And going up to Scotland, where I went out to the national parks and the wildernesses, it's just wonderful to see things not destroyed. It's refilling. And BJ has roses and thorns. She said her rose, she went to see Shokama Falls with her nephew yesterday. How exciting. I don't know your nephew. I didn't know his name. I'm happy you got a chance to go see something beautiful in Washington. And BJ says that her thorn is she ate at McDonald's, which she later threw up because she hasn't eaten there in a year or so. You've been eating that excellent crew food instead. And then your body just doesn't want that crap anymore. I understand. Now, Jessica, she's got her rose and thorn. Jessica says that she got her Bubba to take a break. There it is. She got my Bubba to take a break from brewing and commit to go camping with me and the dogs next week. I want to hear all about it and see lots of pictures of you smiling. I'm so happy to hear it. Where do you guys like to go camping? I could never really find a spot I like in Florida, so I'm curious. And Jessica's thorn says the wolves next to a park I used to love to walk. Oh, Henry has been cleared like scorched earth to make way for, I assume, the woods next to the park I used to love to walk. Gotcha. Scorched earth to make way for what I assume is apartments, and there was a sick, injured cormorant at the park. It was not a good energy at that park anymore. Oh, that's a heartbreaking place. There's so few places that you feel right, and then if it's not right anymore, you gotta mourn it a little bit. All right, now we're caught up on the chat. Thank you so much for that. You guys did great. I'm very happy with you. All right. All right, up to speed. Let's spin the wheel. What's it gonna be? Love this part. Can't quite see it. It's between roses and thorns and Zen Cohen, so I'm just gonna keep going. Makes me so mad the energy's not right. Wisdom. Well, let's head on down. Lay down some wisdom from on high. Let's dive into a little bit of Rumi. Just some simple things. Goodbyes are only for those who love with their eyes, because for those who love with their heart and soul, there is no such thing as separation. That's true. You're always connected to everyone, including those you love. Words are a pretext. It is the inner bond that draws one person to another, not words. Exactly. That's what I think this show is about. I'm using lots of words. None of them are mine, but it's really just about the connection for me. And hopefully for some of you. Oh, this is lovely. There is a candle in your heart, ready to be kindled. And there is a void in your soul, ready to be filled. You feel it, don't you? One more, and this is a fact. Travel brings power and love back into your life. And that's absolutely true. I never feel more powerful than when I'm traveling. When I was on the ships, I had no power at all. They were always telling me where to go, when to eat, what to do. I was constantly being pushed in one direction or another. But now that I'm home and I'm free, I'm wasting all my time, and I could not be more excited. I absolutely love it. So that's what's up with that. All right, let's spin the wheel. Ooh, another monologue. I love those. Let's go down to the theater. See if we can't find something a little bit more serious. Theater? We good? Let's do The Dictator by Charlie Chaplin. I'm sorry, but I don't want to be an emperor. It's not my business. I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate and despise one another. In this world, there is room for everyone. And the good earth is rich and can provide for everyone. The way of life can be free and beautiful, but we have lost the way. Greed has poisoned men's souls, has barricaded the world with hate, has goose-stepped us into misery and bloodshed. We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. Our knowledge has made us cynical. Our cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness and gentleness. Without these qualities, life will be violent and all will be lost. The aeroplane and the radio have brought us closer together. The very nature of these inventions cries out for the goodness in men, cries out for universal brotherhood and unity for us all. Even now, my voice is reaching millions throughout the world, millions of despairing men, women, and little children, victim of a system that makes men torture and imprison innocent people. To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but a passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass, and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish. Soldiers, don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, and what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines. You are not cattle. You are men. You have the love of humanity in your hearts. You don't hate. Only the unloved hate, the unloved and the unnatural. Soldiers, don't fight for slavery. Fight for liberty. In the 17th chapter of St. Luke, it is written, the kingdom of God is within man. Not one man nor a group of men, but in all men. You, the people, have the power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then, in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world, a decent world that will give men a chance to work, that will give youth a future and old age a security. By the promise of these things, brutes have risen to power, but they lie. They do not fulfill that promise. They never will. Dictators free themselves, but they enslave the people. Now let us fight to fulfill that promise. Let us fight to free the world and to do away with national barriers, to do away with greed, with hate and intolerance. Let us fight for a world of reason, a world where science and progress will lead to all men's happiness. Soldiers, in the name of democracy, let us all unite. Not bad for a guy who didn't talk much, you know what I mean? I think you do. How about a big round of applause for the late Charlie Chaplin, everybody? Wait, hold on. There it is. Yeah, nice. Ooh, I got a way to read the top. Yeah. Let's go to the chat. Jessica's still hanging in there. Thank you so much. Oh, hold on. Okay, that's enough of that, Cole. Keep it down. Jessica just told us that she is going camping on the Georgia-South Carolina border. Just beautiful up there. And she is Strom Thurmond, a.k.a. Lake Strom Thurmond, a.k.a. Clark's Hill. I'd say Clark's Hill is a better name. Yeah, that's... Yeah. Oh, applause! Thank you very much. Look at that. I got applause from that nice lady. And Spring said applause. Thank you. And I hope my dad loves that one too. And Julia said, oh, I do love this one. Such a great monologue. I'm not going to lie to you, Julia. Before you suggested it to me, I had never seen it. I think that was the third or fourth monologue that I put in my big old list of monologues. And it was because you suggested it. And since then, I've done it 10, 15, 20 times. And I absolutely love it. Gets my heart going every time. Thank you very much for being such a fun part of the stream. All right. Let's spin the wheel. About 5 minutes to 12, give or take. Thank you, Julia. Yeah, oh, really? You also got me turned on to Jabberwocky. Poem! All right. Speaking of which, as a matter of fact, let's do it right now. Headphones on. Mic's up close. Jabberwocky. I believe was my next pick anyway. Poetry. Jabberwocky by Lewis Carroll. There it is. Excuse me. 'Twas brillig in the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the mome raths outgrabe. Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the Jubjub bird, and shun the frumious Bandersnatch. He took his vorpal sword in hand, long time the manxome foe he fought. So rested he by the Tumtum tree, and stood awhile in thought. And as in uffish thought he stood, the Jabberwock with eyes of flame came whiffling through the tulgey wood, and burbled as it came. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through the vorpal blade went snicker-snack. He left it dead, and with its head he went galumphing back. And hast thou slain the Jabberwock? Come to my arms, my beamish boy. O frabjous day, callooh, callay. He chortled in his joy. 'Twas brillig, and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the mome raths outgrabe. Poem. Check back in the live chat. You guys are doing great. Thank you so much. All right, see if anybody put anything new. Nice. Oh, Charlie just wrote something. Apologies, Mr. M. I love it when you call me Mr. M. I don't know if I told you that or not, but I'm delighted every time. I'm hanging with you. I'm enjoying. Well, cycling on my exercise bike. I'm not coordinated enough to type and cycle. I'm thrilled that you're still here, and thank you for listening. That's anything. I hope I'm keeping your mind off of the foolishness that you have to engage in to keep being so lovely. All right. Wow. That makes me happy. Thanks for hanging in there, friends. Let's spin the wheel. feelings. Haven't done an Ask Me Anything yet. Haven't done a joke. Learn their songs, sweet. Let's go back to the theater. Let's see. Let's do another soft song for practice. I'm enjoying this very much. Kind of practicing my crooner thing. See if I can do the crooner thing. Hope everybody's doing all right out there, and thank you for listening. Is that what crooners say? I have no idea. Let's do... as time goes by. You must remember this. A kiss is still a kiss. A sigh is still a sigh. The fundamental things apply as time goes by. And when two lovers woo, they still say I love you. On that you can rely, no matter what the future brings as time goes by. Moonlight and love songs never out of date. Hearts full of passion, jealousy and hate. Woman needs man and man must have his mate. Man must have his mate, which no one can deny. It's still the same old story, a fight for love and glory, a case of do or die. The world will always welcome lovers as time goes by. I don't think I'll be singing that again. Let's spin the wheel. Shakespeare. Let us head back to the Shakespeare stage. Let's do I wish I had more of these. Let's do Her Father Loved Me. From Othello. Her father loved me, oft invited me, still questioned me the story of my life from year to year. The battles, sieges, fortunes that I have passed, I ran it through even from my boyish days to the very moment that he bade me tell it, wherein I spoke of most disastrous chances, of moving accidents by flood and field, of hairbreadth escapes, the imminent deadly breach of being taken by the insolent foe and sold to slavery, of my redemption thence and portents in my travels' history, wherein of Anta's vast and deserts idle, rough quarries, rocks, and hills whose heads touch heaven, it was my hint to speak. Such was the process, and of the cannibals that each other eat, the anthropophagi, the anthropophagi, the anthropophagi, and the men whose heads do grow beneath their shoulders. This to hear would Desdemona seriously incline, but still the house affairs would draw her thence. Whichever she could with haste dispatch, she'ld come again, and with a greedy ear devour up my discourse, which I observing took once to pliant hour, and found good means to draw from her a prayer of earnest heart, that I would all my pilgrimage relate. Whereof by parcel she had something heard, but not intentively. I did consent, and often did beguile her of her tears when I did speak of some distressful stroke that my youth suffered. My story being done, she gave for me my pains a world of sighs. She swore, I faith, 'twas strange, 'twas passing strange, 'twas pitiful, 'twas wondrous pitiful. She wished she had not heard it, yet she wished that heaven had not made her such a man. She thanked me and bade me, if I had a friend that loved her, I should but teach him how to tell my story, and that would woo her. Upon this hint I spake. She loved me for the dangers I had passed, and I love her that she did pity them. This only is the witchcraft I have used. Just did Shakespeare. Anybody has any requests or anything, let me know. Thank you, Robert. Oh, thank you, BJ. All right. Oh, sorry, folks. I have a complication. Wrong button. Oh, I wonder what the wheel says. I didn't see the wheel. We're going to the chat. It wasn't Riddle Room. I don't care. I was reading the chat. This is so nice. We got nice things. You shall be Mr. Moore forevermore. Consider it done. Lovely thought. Thank you, Charlie. Your live is the most perfect accompaniment to this crazy of mine. Ah, I cherish getting to watch you do your thing. I'm glad that our crazies intersect. That makes me so happy. That's the search, I think, finding my people. There's just fewer of them, I think. But thank you for saying so, Charlie. It means a lot. That was a lovely rendition of As Time Goes By. Thank you. Thank you very much, BJ. I love that song, and I'm trying to learn how to sing. I just got the headphones, so I'm learning how to sing soft songs. It's like week 3 of the soft songs in the mic, so I have no idea what I'm doing yet, so thank you for being patient with me. And Robert says, it's nice to still see you going. White guy arm, 100%. Thank you for saying so. Thanks for sticking your head in. I hope all your business endeavors are going well. I know you got a bunch of them going on. All right. The current time is about 12:02-ish. So let's roll this. Spin the wheel. That was the wrong button. Wait, I skipped David's comment. Back to the chat. This is madness. I'm all over the place. So unprofessional. Back and forth, over and over and over again. I believe that my buddy David asked, hey, buddy, how would the Lake Show go the other night? David, you've been killing it this week with wisdom. I see you posting a whole bunch of really cool Roomy and a whole bunch of really cool Alan Watts, and I've enjoyed it. My show went fantastic on Wednesday. It was at a place called Papa Doc's. My sister, sadly, who was booked to headline, did not come, but my dear friend Jen Snyder, very funny lady, also from Columbia, South Carolina, she came out to headline, and I did my full half hour, and I tried out my new camera, and I got a whole bunch of new stills, and I did old material, and I knew all the jokes, and I had a great time. It felt really, really good to get back on stage. Thank you so much for asking, David. All right, let's spin the wheel. Very popular choice. Yay! I love poems. Let's go down to the Poetry Pagoda. Let's do one just for Charlie on her bike. Let's see. Get this back up here. Hello. This one is. Try adding a little reverb to the songs. A lot of singers prefer monitoring themselves with reverb. I will definitely do that as soon as I figure out how to put reverb. I don't know how. I want to, but I don't know how. I kinda like this ASMR thing we got going on now. Okay, but let's sing a song. No, poem. Let us read My Heart and I by Elizabeth Barrett Browning. Enough. We're tired, my heart and I. We sit beside the headstone thus and wish that name were carved for us. The moss reprints more tenderly the hard types of the mason's knife, as heaven's sweet life renews earth's life, with which we're tired, my heart and I. You see we're tired, my heart and I. We dealt with books, we trusted men, and in our own blood drenched the pen, as if such colors could not fly. We walked too straight for fortune's end. We loved too true to keep a friend. At last we're tired, my heart and I. How tired we feel, my heart and I. We seem of no use in this world. Our fancies hang gray and uncurled around men's eyes indifferently. Our voice, which thrilled you so, will let you sleep. Our tears are only wet. What do we hear? My heart and I. So tired, my heart and I. It was not thus in that old time when Ralph sat with me 'neath the lime to watch the sunset from the sky. Dear love, you're looking tired, he said. I, smiling at him, shook my head. 'Tis now we're tired, my heart and I. So tired, my heart and I, though now none takes me on his arm to fold me close and kiss me warm till each quick breath end in a sigh of happy languor. Now upon we lean over this graveyard stone, uncheered, unkissed, my heart and I. Tired out we are, my heart and I. Suppose the world brought diadems to tempt us, crusted with loose gems of powers and pleasures. Let it try. We scarcely care to look at even a pretty child or God's blue heaven. We feel so tired, my heart and I. Yet who complains, my heart and I? In this abundant earth, no doubt, is little room for things worn out. Disdain them, break them, throw them by. And if before the days grew rough we once were loved, used well enough, I think, well, we fared, my heart and I. Oh, we got more follow-ups. Let's see. It says here, reverb is also a lifesaver when you can hold a tune like me. That's very true. I'll chat with you after about OBS. BJ knows about OBS. Oh, you're the coolest. I don't know anybody else who uses OBS. Everybody I know uses Streamlabs OBS, and that one's too weird for me. Thank you, BJ. I won't be able to talk right after, though, because I got a meeting that I do in this building right after the thing. But around 4:30 tonight, I'll be home. There you go. Okay. I love it when you sing, Charlie. I wish I could hear it more often. It's a lovely thing. Same thing with you, BJ. All right, let's spin the wheel. Here we go. We already did a story. Can't do two of those in one show. Thanks, BJ. You can have two Zen Cohens, why not? Meet me at the campfire. I believe we had just left at number, there it is. They're hard to find sometimes. There we go. We had just left at number 76. So let us read number 77. No attachment to dust. Zengetsu, a Chinese master of the Tang dynasty, wrote the following advice for his pupils. Living in the world, yet not forming attachments to the dust of the world, is the way of a true Zen student. When witnessing the good action of another, encourage yourself to follow his example. Hearing of the mistaken action of another, advise yourself not to emulate it. Even though alone in a dark room, be as if you were facing a noble guest. Express your feelings, but become no more expressive than your true nature. Poverty is your treasure. Never exchange it for an easy life. A person may appear a fool, and yet not be one. He may only be guarding his wisdom carefully. Virtues are the fruit of self-discipline and do not drop from heaven of themselves, as does rain or snow. Modesty is the foundation of all virtues. Let your neighbors discover you before you make yourself known to them. There's a lot of good stuff in this one. A noble heart never forces itself forward. Its words are as rare gems, seldom displayed and of great value. To a sincere student, every day is a fortunate day. Time passes, but he never lags behind. Neither glory nor shame can move him. Censor yourself, never another. Do not discuss right and wrong. Some things, though right, were considered wrong for generations. Since the value of righteousness may be recognized after centuries, there is no need to crave an immediate appreciation. Live with cause and leave results to the great law of the universe. Pass each day in peaceful contemplation. Glad we read that one. Those are words to live by. Perma-poverty. Oh, no, hold on. What? We got some more information. David said, can you sing the ending of Crimson and Clover? I don't know that song yet, and I don't know the voice of Paul Schofield. I know it's over and over, Crimson and Clover. I don't know that one by heart, and I don't have the lyrics, I'm afraid. I'm in perma-poverty, it seems. It becomes me. I am also living as if I'm in poverty right now. I think it's a very smart way to go. The simpler you live, the happier you can be. And I am living proof of it. I don't know that particular song. I'm sorry, buddy. Wish I did. All right. I sing a different song. Just not that one. Sorry. Spin the wheel. All right. Shakespeare. It's come up 4 times in a row. Who am I to argue? Let us read. Go home, be merry, give consent to marry Paris. Wednesday is tomorrow. Tomorrow night, look that thou lie alone. Let not thy nurse lie with thee in thy chamber. Take thou this vial, being then in bed, and this distilled liquor drink thou off. When presently thou all through all thy veins shall run a cold and drowsy humor. For no pulse shall keep his native progress, but surcease, no warmth, no breath shall testify thou livest. The roses in thy lips and cheeks shall fade to paly ashes. Thy eyes' windows fall, like death when he shuts up the day of life, each part, derived of supple government, shall, stiff and stark and cold, appear like death. And in this borrowed likeness of shrunk death, thou shalt continue 42 hours, and then awake as from a pleasant sleep. Now, when the bridegroom in the morning comes to rouse thee from thy bed, there art thou dead. Then, as the manner of our country is, in thy best robes uncovered on the bier, thou shalt be borne to that same ancient vault where all of thy kindred of the Capulets lie. In the meantime, against thou shalt awake, shall Romeo by my letters know our drift, and hither shall he come, and he and I will watch thy waking, and that very night shall Romeo bear thee hence to Mantua. And this shall free thee from this present shame, if no inconsistent toy nor womanish fear abate thou valor in the acting of it. I like that one. Now, David said that there are no points involved in the Schofield Challenge. Good. Nor the Crimson and Clover. I'm more ancient than I realized. No, I've heard the song. I just didn't happen to... It's just not my collection. I think we're about the same age, aren't we? Bravo. Well, thank you very much, Charlie. Aw. See, that's not hard to type. It feels super good. Thank you very much. All right, let's spin a wheel. My only selection. Romeo and Juliet. I'm going to get some more in there. It's a good show. Riddles. All right, then. I'm skipping the riddles. I don't feel like doing it. Indeed, we shall not argue with the bard. All right, you are. Ooh, another poem. Good, I love those. Let's go back to the Poetry Pagoda. Didn't know I was going to make that sound. Oh, no. Hold on. Let's got to take this part. Everything's fine now. And now, a brief poetry reading. Let us read. Give All to Love by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Give all to love. Obey thy heart, friends, kindred, days, estate, good fame, plans, credit, and the muse, nothing refuse. 'Tis a brave master, let it have scope, follow it utterly, hope beyond hope. High and more high it dives into noon, with wing unspent, untold intent, but it is a god, knows its own path, and the outlets of the sky. It was never for the mean, it requireth courage stout, souls above doubt, valor unbending, which 'twill reward. They shall return more than they were, and ever ascending. Leave all for love, yet hear me yet, one word more thy heart behoved, one pulse more of firm endeavor. Keep thee today, tomorrow, forever, free as an Arab of thy beloved. Cling with life to the maid, but when the surprise, first vague shadow of surmise, flits across her bosom young, of a joy apart from thee, free be she, fancy free, nor thou detain her vesture's hem, nor the palest rose she flung from her summer diadem. Though thou loved her as thyself, as a self of purer clay, though her parting dims the day, stealing grace from all alive, heartily know when half gods go, the gods arrive. I like that one too. For reasons that make absolutely no sense, I'm starting to sweat. There we go. All right. Back there. There we go. Better than church. Thank you very much. That's all I'm going for. Just a place we can all... Was that a British accent? I wasn't even paying attention. I was just trying to sound cool. But I think when I try to sound cool, I end up sounding British. I just enjoy the various, just sounding so serious and important. All right, that's enough of that. Thanks for saying so. Trying to be better than church, that's all I can go for. Let's spin the wheel. Make sure we haven't missed anything. We skipped the riddles today because nobody cares. Haven't told a joke yet. Haven't done any limericks, but I'm fine with that. Several poems, several songs, lots of wisdom. Seems like a good day to me. Talked about my feelings. This is fun. What did I tell you about the riddle? I said no riddles. Feelings. We already did feelings. I've never heard your American accent, Charlie. I'd very much like to. Yay, another song. Let's go. Let's do a campfire song. Well, let's see. I'm going to do this one from a little bit of a distance. And there we go. That's life. Because I know you're having a tough time out there with all the troubles and the hurricanes and whatnot. We'll try this one. This is a classic. That's life, that's life, that's what all the people say. You're riding high in April, shot down in May. But I know I'm gonna change that tune when I'm back on top in June. I said that's life, and as funny as it may seem, some people get their kicks stomping on a dream, but I don't let it get me down, 'cause this fine old world, it keeps spinning around. I've been a puppet, a pauper, a pirate, a poet, a pawn and a king. I've been up and down and over and out, and I know one thing. Each time I find myself flat on my face, I pick myself up and get back in the race. That's life, that's life, that's life. I can't deny it. I thought of quitting, baby, but my heart just ain't gonna buy it. And if I didn't think it was worth one single try, I'd jump right on a big bird and then I'd fly. I've been a puppet, a pauper, a pirate, a poet, a pawn and a king. I've been up and down and over and out, and I know one thing. Each time I find myself flat on my face, I just pick myself up and get back in the race. That's life. Where'd that whistle come from? That's life, and I can't deny it. Many times I thought of cutting out, but my heart just ain't gonna buy it. But if there's nothing shaking come this here July, I'm gonna roll myself up in a big ball. And my. Yeah. There you go, campfire song. Fun. Spin the wheel. This is great for me. You guys are wonderful. Hope. There you go, some more wisdom. Let's do another longer piece. We seldom realize, this is Alan Watts, of course, we seldom realize, for example, that our most private thoughts and emotions are not actually our own. For we think in terms of languages and images which we did not invent, but which were given to us by our society. It's true. Much of what we do is a reaction, which is why I think people being terrified about AI learning from other people's work is ridiculous, because that's how else could they possibly learn something? That's how I learn. That's how everybody learns. All right. Speaking of which, man suffers only because he takes seriously what the gods made for fun. That's Alan Watts, and that's a fact. Let's spin the wheel. Ooh, a joke. All right, let's go down to the theater. I'll tell a joke. I don't have my list in front of me, so I'll have to go into memory. A man sees an article in the newspaper, talking dog, $50. So he goes to the house, he knocks on the door, and a dog opens it up. He's standing there smoking a pipe, and he says, "Oh my God, are you the talking dog?" The dog says, "Yes, I am." And the man says, "Can you tell me about yourself?" And the dog smokes his pipe and says, "Well, I studied in Oxford and then Harvard Law. I spent many years abroad with Doctors Without Borders, trying to bring clean drinking water to the people of Peru. I won a Nobel Peace Prize, and I'm currently running for Senate." And the man says, "Wow, that's amazing. That's an incredible, how could somebody possibly be selling a dog like that for $50? And he hears the owner in the background, "He's a fucking liar." I like that one. Throw the F word in. I figure it's worth it. Here we go. Back to the Chat Chalet. Lion talking dog. We got some new quotes. Let's see what they say. Let's see. Preach. Love Marilyn Manson. Good rendition. Right on. As a kid, I could sing the ending of Crimson and Clover. I called it Strobo. Crimson and Clover. Is that what you're talking about? Over and over. Crimson and Clover. I think that's what my vibrato is supposed to sound like, but I can't quite do it on the regular, so I have like a fake, weird, unpleasant vibrato. But I've said too much. See, all right, we got the right answer. That makes me happy. What poetry pagoda? I hit the button. I might as well commit. Here's another poem. I'm really enjoying reading these poems in my grown-up radio voice. Hey, everybody, we're back. We got poetry on the ones. Let us do In the Dark by Boleslav Lesmian. The lip is the lip's friend, the hand the hand's, lying next each other. Each one understands to whom he belongs, each one of the buried dead. Unwillingly, the night goes overhead. The earth asserts itself, but hesitantly and leaflessly. The leaves move on a tree. God stirs the wind and space, but he is high above the forest's distant forest sigh. The wind says this to space, "I'll not be back across this forest," while the night shines black. Still darkness thickens, pierced by small starlight. The seagulls flying over the sea are white. One says, I've heard the fate of the stars foretold. The next, I've watched the heavens themselves unfold. The third is silent, but because it knew two bodies glowing in the darkness who wove darkness into their embrace, it found them made of the caress which they wound. Lovely. It was originally written in Spanish and then translated by someone smarter than myself. Pretty cool. Here we go. Here we got wisdom. All right then. Let's go back. Wrong button. Few more teachings of Rumi. Be melting snow. Wash yourself of yourself. Here is Rumi describing love. This is love, to fly toward a secret sky, to cause 100 veils to fall each moment, to finally let go of life, finally to take a step without feet. One more. Two there are who are never satisfied, the lover of the world and the lover of knowledge. I think that's true. Oh, didn't mean to have the headphones on. And let's spin the wheel. Come on, monologue. Oh, perfect, monologue. Let's go to the theater. See if we can't find a short, interesting monologue. Let's do... I have several. I'm just trying to find one that's fun. Let us do... Nope, too long. Too dark. Let's do A Place for My Stuff by George Carlin. Actually, this is just a place for my stuff, you know, that's all. A little place for my stuff. That's all I want. That's all you need in life is a little place for your stuff, you know. I can see it on your table. Everybody's got a little place for their stuff. This is my stuff. That's your stuff. That'll be his stuff over there. That's all you need in life. A little place for your stuff. That's all your house is. It's a place to keep your stuff. If you didn't have so much stuff, you wouldn't need a house. You could just walk around all the time. A house is just a pile of stuff with a cover on it. You can see that when you're taking off in an airplane. You look down, you see everybody's got a little pile of stuff. All the little piles of stuff. And when you leave your house, you got to lock it up. Wouldn't want anybody to come by and take some of your stuff. They always take the good stuff. They never bother with that crap you're saving. All they want is the shiny stuff. That's what your house is. A place to keep your stuff while you go out and get more stuff. Sometimes you got to move. Got to get a bigger house. Why? No more room for your stuff. Did you ever notice that when you go to somebody else's house, you never quite feel 100% at ease? You know why? No room for your stuff. Somebody else's stuff is all over the goddamn place. And if you stay overnight unexpectedly, they give you a little bedroom to sleep in. Bedroom they haven't used in about 11 years. Somebody died in it 11 years ago, and they still haven't moved any of his stuff. Right next to the bed, there's usually a dresser or a bureau of some kind, and there's no room for your stuff on it. Somebody else's shit is on the dresser. You ever noticed that their stuff is shit and your shit is stuff? God. And you say, get that shit off of there and let me put my stuff down. Sometimes you leave your house to go on vacation, and you got to take some of your stuff with you. Got to take about 2 big suitcases full of stuff when you go on vacation. You got to take a smaller version of your house. It's the second version of your stuff. And you're going to fly all the way to Honolulu. Going to be across the continent, across half an ocean to Honolulu. You get to the hotel room in Honolulu and you open up your suitcase and you put away all your stuff. Here's a place here, put a little bit of stuff here, put some stuff over there, put some stuff. You put some stuff. Here's another place for your stuff. Look at this, I'll put some stuff here. And even though you're far away from home, you start to get used to it. Start to feel okay. Because after all, you do have some of your stuff with you. That's when your friend calls up from Maui and says, hey, why don't you come over to Maui for the weekend and spend a couple of nights over here? Oh, no. Now what do I pack? Right, you got to pack an even smaller version of your stuff. The third version of your house. Just enough stuff to make it to Maui for a couple of days. You get over to Maui. I mean, you're really getting extended now when you think about it. You got stuff all the way back in the mainland. You got stuff on another island. You got stuff on this island. I mean, supply lines are getting longer and harder to maintain. You get over to your friend's house in Maui, and he gives you a little place to sleep, a little bed right next to his windowsill or something. You put some of your stuff up there. You put some of your stuff up there. You got your Visine, you got your nail clippers, you put everything up. It takes about a half an hour, but after a while, you finally feel okay. Say, all right, I got my nail clippers. I must be okay. That's when your friend says, hey, I think tonight we'll go over to the other side of the island, visit a pal of mine, and maybe stay over. Oh, no. Now what do you pack? That's right. You got to pack an even smaller version of your stuff. The fourth version of your house. Only the stuff you know you're going to need. Money, keys, comb, wallet, lighter, hanky, pen, smokes, rubber, and change. Well, only the stuff you hope you're going to need. I'd agree. How about George Carlin, everybody? How about, yeah. Still holds up. He's marvelous. Well, it's about that time, folks. I want to thank everybody very much for watching. Those of you who stayed tuned in the whole time, I appreciate you the most. Thanks for spending time with me. Thanks for making me so happy. I hope to see you again next week. I'll be here at 11 o'clock, and I'd be delighted if you join me. Till then, remember, the only way to save this country is for all of us to love one another. So love yourself first, and then, love somebody else if you can. Then, if it's possible, try to love everybody. We'll meet again, don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. Sing along if you know the words. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Keep shining through just like you always do, and the blue skies will push those dark clouds far away. And would you please say hello to the folks that I know and tell them I won't be long. They'll be happy to know that as you saw me go, I was singing this song. We'll meet again, don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next week. Love you. Now be good, but not too good. Bye-bye.